on this computer. Does it say? Yeah, it's good. My name, my name is not Fernando though, but I'm using Fernando's Zoom login.
Yeah, I was like, who the hell is Fernando? What kind of catfishing is this?
No, it's me. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man.
Man, good.
On the
I
grind, on the
wanna
struggle.
say people like watch the podcast and the YouTube videos. They need to subscribe. We're already in 64 subscribers. We're gonna throw a party at 100.
Where? Where?
Mm.
On YouTube.
I don't know, on YouTube, online.
Okay.
It's tricky to come into Europe, to go to Argentina. My friend Matt Ross, you're in Kingston, Jamaica.
Yeah, man, Kingston.
How's
Rainy Kingston.
It's raining? No, here is nice.
Yeah, man, it's been raining for like 2 months now. So it's our rainy season, so it's like expected, but like this year it's been super, super, super wet. So
shit. Is it permanent foggy rain, or does it just like come down like full on?
No, man, like every morning you think it's gonna be a nice day, and then like by noon the rain's come and to rain for like 2 hours. But recently, because we've had like all these little tropical systems, it'll rain for like 3 days straight. So it's been raining since like Thursday.
Shit. See,
or Wednesday.
intense.
It's like all week.
Those tropical Caribbean heavy rains, sudden.
Yeah, man. I need to show you a picture of my street right now. Hold on. Can I do like a screen?
See, we did like last time. My last podcast I did with my friend Damian. We were sharing some Trump and Biden memes. I haven't figured out that. Yeah, did you see the Joe for Resident, the P with the
yeah, I saw that.
That one.
My favorite one I saw recently was when 50 Cent came out and said he ain't voting for Biden because of the taxes. And there was this funny one calling him
to be 20 cents, something like that.
Yeah, but there was the one that had it like the face filter on and made him look kind of like Mike Pence, and it was like 50 pence instead of 50 cents.
I didn't see it.
That one was hilarious.
We gotta figure out how to share audio, and then it's gonna be a full on like just looking at YouTube and me and people talking, and that's gonna be like all the videos on the podcast, just looking at you. That's okay. While Matt is sharing his screen, I want to tell people I know Matt Ross from my sailing days with the Yalwick. I don't know, I don't even remember where I met him, but he's also been sailing with Yalwick in Croatia, in Greece. But he's from Jamaica, lives in Jamaica, is in Jamaica right now.
Yeah, born in England, moved to Jamaica when I was 7 or 8. Okay. So how old am I now? God damn, I'm so old. 34 now. 34, bro.
It's good to meet skippers older than me. Like I'm hanging out with Eric. Eric is here now. He's in Barcelona.
Eric who?
See, Eric Brazil.
Oh, Kunz.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's 1 year older, so you're 2 years older. You're 87.
86.
Ah, okay. When's the birthday?
That was the year Alex Ferguson took over Manchester United.
That was also the year Argentina won the World Cup with Maradona.
Sorry.
Man, United not
hold on.
Right.
The screen sharing is not working.
Already?
It says the host has disabled participant screen sharing.
How do I do it?
I don't know. I'm not really big on Zoom. I've only used it like twice.
You wanna shoot? What were you wanna show me? You wanna shoot me the link?
I was just gonna show you a picture of my street right now. You know what? I'll send it to your Facebook and
send me on Facebook, and then I'll share my screen and we'll show people the streets of Kingston. You live in proper Kingston town?
Yeah, I'm like right in the middle. Not right in the middle. Like I'm not in like. So Kingston's weird. Kingston has like the downtown section, which is like really like around the harbor, the main harbor. Kingston Harbor is the 7th largest natural harbor on the planet. And then it kind of branches out, and then you've got like the newer like central business district, and then you have like the main arteries, the main roads that like branch out from that area, and then you have kind of like more like more smaller
Mini
central business
towns.
area. Yeah, but it's all connected. It's all like one big city. So we've got like 1 point something million living here now.
Big.
Um,
It's a big city.
yeah, man. And
How
so
far
many people are like moving to the cities now. So
from the rest of the island, you mean?
yeah, from like the more rural, because obviously there's usually more opportunity like in the cities.
Right, right.
So, so yeah.
But you have like big house with room for the bees and everything, or you have the bees somewhere else?
Yeah, like we're on like a quiet street in a pretty wealthy area. With our house is actually really old. It's like built in the 60s, I think.
Hmm.
But it's on almost like an acre. So I have about 30 hives here. No, my neighbors don't really like me too much because of that. But
Man, at
I
this
just
point, they
I
must
bribe them
be.
with I bribe them with a bit of honey here and there. So
Yeah, you gotta make good.
yeah, did you get a picture? Just sent
Wait,
you.
you send me on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook Messenger.
I got.
So I literally
Uh,
just took that picture when I got home.
Holy shit! This is your gate of the
No,
Ross.
that's my neighbor. So I'm on the other side of that puddle, so I have to like get through that lake. I have to drive through that lake because our street is kind of like a valley.
I'm sharing screen. Can you see?
Okay, yeah. So
Okay.
our street is kind of like we live on a hill, but our street is like a little valley. So all
Okay.
the water like accumulates here, and sometimes it gets like 2 feet deep, and you can't 2, 3 feet deep, and you can't pass. But there's like a natural soakaway. So after
See,
like an hour, it's usually pretty passable.
see, this looks like Buenos Aires, Argentina on rainy season too, man. It gets the flooding is real. You see it? You see the picture on my screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay,
So
cool.
so my truck can normally get through, but I bought an Audi S3 recently, and that shit's not getting through that.
No.
I have to park it like you see that like grassy patch right there. That's like the perfect spot where sometimes I'll have to park and then I'll have to wade through it, walk home. You can just see my house at the end, the kind of like a yellowy looking with an awning right
This
there. Yeah,
one.
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Ah, nice. Man, it looks
Yeah,
super heavy vegetation, like
yeah,
like
man. With all the
jungle,
rains we've had,
jungle,
like
rainy. Man,
yeah, big time.
I never asked you this, but like I was thinking of people watching this. If some of my friends end up watching this and know you're from Jamaica, and you definitely not look like Bob Marley. How was like growing up and then living in Jamaica, looking like an Englishman? Like you look, you don't really look too English.
Um, so I would say it's super mixed because like my parents sent me to more. They didn't want to send me to like when we first moved here. They didn't want to send us, me and my brothers, to schools that were like heavily expats or like they didn't want to shelter us because
Oh,
originally when we moved to Jamaica, we were only supposed to be here for a year,
all right.
and,
Wait,
and then
none of your parents are full Jamaican. They're both English.
yeah, but my dad was actually born in Trinidad, so he was born in the Caribbean.
Ah, okay, okay.
So so growing up, like I got bullied a lot. It was hard to make friends at first,
Hmm.
mainly because like you're so young, it's a completely different culture, like, and I was a really shy kid too, super shy, super shy. So like, um, and then once I got to high school, it was weird because I finally made a couple friends. I finally had it like some friends in prep school, and then when high school comes, you have to kind of make new friends all over again.
Right. That's like
And
when you switch schools. Super American
yeah,
movie. Super American. I went to the same school, like kindergarten, elementary school, high school. So it's
yeah,
hard for me to relate, but from the movies, I can tell.
yeah. So like there was that part of it, and then also because I was still new to the country, only been here 2 years, like I didn't have cousins, I didn't have um childhood friends that even if you have to go to a new school, you still have those.
Outside of the
Okay,
school to hang out on the weekend
yeah, yeah,
after.
yeah. So but then I was I mean high school was fun. I played a lot of sports, so I kept busy. I played a lot of cricket and swimming were like my two. A lot of tennis, football.
Football, no? Like
So
football.
my friend, yeah, like soccer, football,
Sí,
not
sí, football, the one we like. Okay.
yeah, like football.
Yeah.
um, but there was some bullying here and there, like because I
Mm.
was white. But
Mm.
then, but growing up, you would forget, like growing up as a kid, you just like race isn't like a thing. You just have your friends and like live.
Yeah.
So there were times where I would be like, I would look in the mirror and I'd be like, oh shit, I'm white. Like it kind of, because all your friends are black and like most people around you are. So that was kind of
Yeah, especially like
weird.
there were other like kids, white kids, or I don't know,
I
Asian
think
kids, or different, or you were like the only.
there was one other white kid in my school, apart from my brother, my younger brother.
Ah, okay. And then like, what's the bullying and all of that? Like different, the differences are like, oh, like skin color difference, or like you couldn't get into the culture because you haven't been watching the same cartoons, because you haven't been listening to the same music. Was it more of a just like reaction to skin color, or you couldn't
Yes,
like?
I think it's part skin color, but part class
Hmm,
because people people here would associate your skin color with your class or your race.
the money,
Sorry, your yeah,
right?
your like socioeconomic status or whatever. So like situation. So the bullying is more like I want something from you,
Hmm,
like your lunch money or
right.
like they rubbed me off my Game Boy Color in school because I was like we love me once I had like some close friends. I think that was like by grade 9. It was we played Pokemon
Yeah, I was gonna ask you
a
for
lot.
sure. You are playing
Yeah,
Pokemon
yeah,
a lot.
we're no, but first we were big on the Pokemon cards, and then
Yeah, and the trading card
I
game.
got yeah I was as a kid I was always the kind of kid that would always do all the chores at the house just because I wanted the money so I could save my money and buy. Like I was big on savings, so I was always about like I want to work and get something and so I could buy it on my own. I never asked my parents for like anything.
Wait, was this only to get like a holographic Charizard, or for like
Yeah,
other things?
so I got the really rare holographic Mew or Mewtwo, I can't remember now.
Yeah,
And I
I
traded
think
it
Mew
for
too, because Mew they were giving it like promotional events. I remember like you had to like
I
go
don't
to
know.
a thing at a shopping mall, and they were like limited Mews, and they would give
What?
you a Mew.
What? No, it wasn't like that here, man. But I remember there was a kid that really wanted it, and I really wanted the Venusaur. So I traded I traded for the Venusaur, holographic Venusaur. Remember Venusaur?
Yeah,
So
yeah, the
yeah, yeah,
Bulbasaur 3. Yeah.
yeah. So and then another kid wanted that, and he wanted to pay me $100 for the card. And at that time, as a kid, I was like, damn, hell yeah, I'll sell immediately. So I sold that immediately.
Wait, this is a black kid or a white kid
Black kid.
with $100 for a Venusaur?
Yeah.
So that all that
No,
class thing
but
that you
there's
were
a
it's bullshit.
no, but there's a yeah. I mean, but if you're
It's-
white, they just assume you're rich,
right, 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 right.
right? But there's a big middle class here, and kids have money,
See, and I
and
understand a lot of
kids
like
in
black people with money too. I guess.
yeah, middle class kids here are generally spoiled by their parents, so they'll buy them a card or whatever.
Right.
They my one of my best friends who I'd always hang out with every weekend, his parents would always give him like 5 times as much lunch money as what my parents would give me. My parents would give me like enough to buy like a patty, which is like this small pastry with meat in it,
Huh.
and a back juice, which at the time was equivalent to like
$5.
maybe like less than $1 US for the
Oh
day.
shit! Yeah.
Maybe like a dollar for the day,
Hmm.
which should be enough to buy like that.
See.
So I would save my lunch money because me and him wanted to do things on the weekend. So I would save my lunch money, and then he would always buy me lunch because he
Because
got
he
so
had
much.
like way yeah.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, where's I going? Oh yes, I sold the Venusaur for a hundred
100 bucks.
bucks,
Yeah.
and then these kids came to me like the next day, knowing that this kid had given me $100, saying, "Yo, we have a Game Boy Color. We have a Game Boy Color that we want to sell you with Pokemon Yellow or one of them." And I was like, "Oh fuck yeah!" I bought the I bought the Game Boy Color from these kids.
Right.
The next day, the next fucking day, those same kids stole it from my bag and told me I had to pay them $100 to get back the Game Boy. So they stole it back
So
from
like
me and wanted me to pay.
a ransom on the Game Boy.
Yeah. But they knew I couldn't go to like the teachers or anything because you're not allowed to be like playing games and shit
Right. Also,
at
like
school.
maybe they would tell the teacher that you sold the Venusaur for $100, and that was frowned upon too.
They couldn't even say that because these games were banned because they were declared like demonic. They were
Oh,
because Jamaica's very religious, right? They were declared
man!
like Harry Potter, like all that stuff is like declared demonic shit
Wait,
back then.
wait, wait, wait. Declared by like the government. The government was.
Not really the government, but like the church, and it's a
Uh,
church school. Most high schools in Jamaica or schools were either started by a church or
or full like
they're
Catholic
they're
school.
religious. Yeah,
Catholic, yeah.
dude, I don't even know if it's Catholic. I don't think it's
How come
Catholic.
you don't know?
It's Christian.
But
It's
it's
Christian.
Jesus.
Because dog, I
It's
get yeah,
Jesus.
it's
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay.
Blue
Yeah.
eyes, blonde hair.
Yeah. 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 See, wait, because this is like bad history by me. But why was Jamaica before Jamaica? English colony? The English had.
Yeah, so the Spanish, it was first a Spanish colony, and then the
Right.
British took it from the Spanish.
So you must have
And
like Spanish still like
no,
Spanish.
there's
Oh, they replaced
no.
everything, all the names.
Yeah. Well, there's still
Kingston
some
English.
Spanish name places,
Right. Places. I was gonna say.
but we don't speak Spanish here. There's no
Hmm.
like
No. I was going for the places and or like streets or like
yeah.
bays or towns.
Yeah, so
And
where I have some of my hives, well actually the biggest apiary is actually a town which is Spanish, still Spanish named from way back in the day.
see, I don't know a lot of islands like taken by the English in the Caribbean, right? Because it's mostly well Spanish in the beginning, and then a lot of Dutch and Portuguese. No.
Yeah, there's not much Portuguese. There's Dutch,
Yeah, the Dutch.
Spanish, British, really. That's it.
So yeah, that's it. No, wait, I was gonna tell you, you and your little entrepreneurship with the Pokemon. I remember, yeah, like the trading cards, and then I, I had a job interview a few months ago, and they asked me like, what was the first thing you did for money? I was like, I don't fucking know. But I remember that at school I got in trouble because I was doing some rap lyrics and writing them and selling them for like 2 Argentinian pesos when I was like in like third grade because it was like rap, like it was I'll send you, it's good Argentinian like hip hop.
No, I don't want to read that.
It's good. No, the music. I'll send you the music. Like hip hoppy, like guys that were like copying a bit like the American hip hop with a bit of funk. It was good. But
That's funny.
I was super into the internet and like learning English with the lyrics to songs, you know. So it was like my way into like the English language and into like making some money. Then I lost all of that. Entrepreneurship was gone. I tried to make money. I was like money, but a lot of it went into the trading cards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Jamaicans tend to grow up with some sense of entrepreneurial spirit because there's always a need to try and make more money because it's not easy living here. So you're always trying to find like a hustle, a side hustle, always.
Right. Well,
Even some of the guys with the most successful companies, everyone has like something aside that is bringing in like more income.
See,
You know.
well, I didn't want to get into this like so quickly, but since we're here, I was thinking like all today and lately, I've been thinking a lot about, we know like coronavirus, everybody has a new side hustle or a thing that's trying to like make you money while you work. And a lot of this time and lately, I've been thinking about friends of mine that have a lot of freedom, that do some freelancing, you know, and kind of like they haven't stopped working or they work however they want. And you have 3 hustles that you kind of do whatever you want. No, you do the skippering, you go do some charges with me or in the Caribbean. You do architecture, you take up projects, and then you have the beekeeping.
Yeah,
which is awesome to have 3
yeah,
different.
yeah. But I was always a kid that got bored quickly. So either if it could have been sports, so I would play like tennis nonstop for a year and I would get bored of it. You know, once it became kind of too competitive or too serious, I would be like, it kind of took the fun out of it. Cricket,
It
football,
happens.
yeah. And I found the same with like professionally. Like I regretted doing architecture, but I think it's taught me like a lot about society and just details, looking into details of things. I think is your attention to details like pretty fine tuned, and then
You were between like a couple of options, and you always were like, okay, whatever, I'll do architecture, or you were like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
almost did.
So that's what I went to university for.
In Kingston.
Yeah, in Kingston.
Yeah.
And I regretted doing it, but like I said, like I learned a lot, and even now I can still bounce back on it. Like there's a few projects that I work on freelance every now and then, just extra income.
You have the option to do it.
There's
great to have the option to do it.
Yeah, but then at the same time, if you have, I've learned that like if you're doing too many things, it's hard to really focus and grow one thing,
See, it's hard, like all these things and strategies for business or for like growing in life. I feel like you can find an argument for one thing and then for the opposite thing, like I can tell you, you got to diversify and you have a lot of options. So from the options, you get the growth, because if this doesn't work or this doesn't pay you back, you get, the risk is this, you have the others, right? So you can say that and it's fine. Or you can say, actually, you grow the most and you get the best benefit out of one thing if you tunnel vision to the thing.
Yeah, but then you have to balance what you're gonna get out of it personally on a spiritual level. Like, what are you gonna enjoy more?
Right.
For the rest of your life.
And what's gonna stress you out more? How's your day gonna be like?
Yeah.
You take up 4 projects at the same time, right?
So like with the charter work, part of me is like I want to go and advance my licensing so I can go on bigger multi yachts full time, right? But I'm not gonna do that yet because I'm gonna be applying for my U.S. citizenship soon. Green card.
Nice.
U.S. green card soon. Yeah, with my brother, because he lives in Fort Lauderdale, and Fort Lauderdale is like the mecca of yachting.
Yachting in Florida, yeah.
So I have that. I have that weighing on my mind. I'm like, when am I gonna do it? And then Corona came around, and like.
How's your into the green card? What's your case? Well,
my brother's a citizen, so you can file for family members.
Direct family.
Takes a while though.
Yeah. Believe me, I know. And and your brother got married to an American?
He had been before, but he didn't get his citizenship through that. He's been living there for like, God damn it. He's been there like 20 odd years now.
Okay.
Yeah, he went there for school and then stayed, and he's working there still.
Boats or nothing to do with boats?
No, nothing to do with boats. He does web design marketing. I think he's I don't know if he's creative director or deputy creative director for Celsius. Is a new energy drink.
like a Monster.
There. Yeah, like a Red Bull, whatever, that kind of.
Celsius. I have a friend, my Fort Lauderdale friend, Dane. He does something for a beer company. Like he's a salesperson of contact of like all the bars in Fort Lauderdale and drives around like a big beer brand, like maybe, I don't know, InBev or one of those. I don't know. Maybe they distribute Celsius. I'll ask him.
Yeah, man. So if you had a entrepreneurial spark, is there anything you would be interested in pursuing?
For me, I don't know. I have a problem. I'll tell you what I'm thinking about now. Tell me what you think. I'm doing this podcast thing is great to just like have fun and keep in touch with friends. But I also saw that a lot of people now are doing like their own newsletter or their own, like trying to build their little audience on something, I'm following a guy his name is Alex, and he does Alex and Books. The guy likes to read, and he's just like, I'm gonna do Alex and Books, and just reads, recommends books, tips about reading. Just like a dumb example. Another guy does like sports business, so like talks about sports and money in sports and player contracts. So everybody has kind of like a little niche, like you can do beekeeping, but
because I think that's great, because if it's something you truly like and truly love, if you can just share it, and then you never know, it might end up making you some money in the long term. Someone might
with the
Someone might
internet,
pick you up and be like, yo, shit, do you want to come and work for this company that
100%.
writes,
A hundred, say 100%, or you find you don't have to be like Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. If you have like 1,000 people that like you a lot and they like might like read your shit, buy your shit, however you're monetizing, you're selling, you're not selling. Kelly, my girlfriend, has a friend who's has a yoga business, like teaches online, has subscriptions, did some trips. I don't know now what's gonna happen, but like some retreats. They organize a trip,
yeah,
and also now she's selling stuff. Like she did a trip to Morocco, met a guy who does Moroccan carpets and sells the carpets to her American customers. So, and she has like a solid base, like 5,000 Instagram followers, like not 200, but that's it. Like it's her business. So you don't need
yeah.
to be like, well,
Yo, you know what happened to me recently? I'm a big UFC fan, right? So I
oh
was
yeah,
posting,
I saw the Habib.
yeah,
I saw a little bit.
I
I'm
was
way out of it now.
so I was posting short clips on my YouTube channel of like knockouts and stuff when I was watching the fights. I'd be like, oh yo, let me just upload this, just short clips, like 10, 20 second clip.
You don't get
And I
in
got
trouble by
banned.
like pay
Yes,
per
I
view.
got
Yeah.
banned. I got banned permanently off YouTube for doing that. They had
You
sent me like a warning like months ago,
you never
but
saw it.
I'm not gonna say I didn't see it. I'm not gonna lie, but I
Ah,
saw it.
okay. Lying is
But
bad. Lying is bad.
I thought that if your clip was like short enough that it's not, I thought it was like if you're under 20 or 30 seconds or something, it's fine. Because
Right.
you have a fair use thing where you can use clips
Public
of something
public
and
domain.
speak over it. Yeah, I thought it was fine. And one of my videos went viral and got 700 and something thousand views. Crazy knockout.
700K.
Yeah.
700K.
And I got like 600 subscribers just from that one video. So like every video I was posting after that was getting like 30,000 views, 40,000 views, and all this shit. And then
Did,
one day,
were you
banned.
monetizing? Were you monetizing this?
No, it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
because I don't think you can monetize until you have at least 2,000 subscribers, or is it 1,000? I can't
Uh,
remember.
it changes, but I don't know.
Yeah,
My friend Chino, the Chinese, with whom I started this podcast, he used to do a lot of like Google Ads back in the day, like back in 2000 and I don't know 4, like back in
yeah,
the day, and he made good money. And I think he still has like a lot of money. His Google account is just banned because I think he was doing some like black hat SEO kind of thing, but he would know. Cool shit. He had Bitcoin in 2010. I remember him telling me, like, I have this thing, Bitcoin, and then, like, I don't know, lost the ledger or something. It's crazy.
oh yeah, I lost the ledger.
Sí.
I hear a lot of stories like that.
Yeah, but like I remember hearing from Bitcoin from him when it was like
Yeah,
not even close to being a thing. Well, so I'm thinking to start one of these things, like a newsletter, because I like, but with no like I don't know what like the niche would be because I don't have like a beekeeping, architecture, sailing a little bit skill. I just
yeah.
like
By
it's
the way, are you coming? Are you coming this summer to do the 1 week with Monica and those guys? She
what.
said you said yes.
Ah, fuck yeah. I said yes to that. I got like
Okay.
three requests and I said yes to everything. And I said like, let's like reassess after New Year's
Sweet.
or something. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Sweet.
Monica's is in like what, June?
Uh, yeah, like June
Yeah.
17th or towards the end of June or something.
See, and
I think.
somebody else asked me a Lagoon 460 like in Greece, like a
Yeah.
2020. And then another guy, September 4th. I was like, can you like skip it for me September 4th? Like, dude, it's like 11 months from now. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I was gonna start doing a vlog with the bees, but which I thought would have been beneficial to both me and like if I'm using it as my experience to help other beekeepers or whatever, and just to give people a better idea of the work that goes behind like
Sí.
honey, because it's a lot of damn work. But when I started doing it, it's like the amount of recording you have to do
Hmm.
and then retakes because if you're not vocal properly or whatever. And I was like, when I started editing, I was like, God damn, these people must love this shit because it takes so much work to edit
When
and
you
put
think
it together.
of PewDiePie doing like one video a day and like with the cuts and the edit,
Yeah.
because this is easy. Like this, like I like now we close and like
Once,
upload. It's easy.
yeah. And like once you get into it and you pick up on a formula, right? I guess the editing and all of that gets a lot easier
So,
and
but
you
still, can't.
experience. But yeah, just like because when I'm working, dog, I just want to get there, get my work done, and get out. I don't want to be hanging around. I don't want to be, oh shit, now I have to park. Let's throw the drone up, and that's gonna take 20, 30 minutes. Before you know it, the traffic coming back into Kingston, I know is gonna be like crazy. So there's like,
Because this is your other bees that you have in another place.
yeah, like outside of Kingston, so it's like a 1.5 hour drive out there.
Oh, right.
So
But you should do it. Like,
yeah,
you should do it like do it raw, like this thing that we're doing now. Do like a little take talking, like a vlog talking on the phone, like I don't know, or
yeah.
ride, and like you don't have to edit.
And I borrowed one of these from my friend. One of these like the gimbals, so you can mount your phone and it
It's
keeps
like
it
a steady cam.
stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was really cool.
See,
Really cool, but
do it super raw. I feel like now more and more everything's moving to raw and like people documenting the journey. Like I want
yeah,
to start this thing. I don't know what's
yeah,
up. Like I'm thinking like the newsletter I want to do. I might just like in the newsletter say like, look, everybody's doing this thing. I don't have a particular skill I can offer, but I know a lot of people, so I want to like keep in touch with my friends. Like this is like a way of doing this, like the podcast.
yeah.
And
So
then
right.
maybe I'll just like use the podcast to put in the newsletter, say something like I say, oh, Matt Ross. Matt is from I met Matt here. We did this. These are like great things to do in this place. Or like if I have been to Jamaica, which I haven't, we gotta remedy that. I would say Jamaica is great for this. Like we did this when I visited, a little bit of like personal adventure, and then I'll just like put in whatever I'm. When you want to recommend something to a friend, like, oh, listen to the Kanye podcast or listen or read this book. I don't know. I just like put it in there and see what happens.
Yeah. Did you watch the Kanye podcast?
I watched a little. I
So
listened to like 2 hours. I went on a wait. Kelly just today started like her own. Speaking of starting like ventures, she started her own website and did a workshop on finance aid for fitness professional. Like if you're a fitness teacher trying to start your own Zoom thing, or you have your own thing and you have a studio
yeah,
and you have no idea about numbers, she will help with like Excel and like cost, discretionary, non-discretionary costs. So it was great. Like a lot of people came to the workshop. So I left her alone and I went for a walk to the marina here, like 2 hour walk with the
where are you now?
Kanye podcast. I mean,
You're in Barcelona.
yes, Barcelona
Okay.
for a year and a half now.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it.
So I started watching it last night and
We're talking about a Kanye
bro,
podcast with Joe Rogan, which everybody I think should go listen.
I started watching it and I was like, you could tell he has so much in his mind that he's trying to like speak about, and he'll go on this, he'll be trying to explain something and then he goes off on this crazy tangent and then goes deep into that and then he goes on to another tangent, and then Joe Rogan, after like letting him speak for like 10 minutes, just pulls him back and is like, oh, all right, you lost me here, but could you like just explain this example that you're talking about?
He realizes because he's pretty self-aware, which I wasn't sure he was gonna be.
But I only watched like 30 minutes and then I fell asleep.
Okay. In one moment, he tells Joe like, I don't know how you segue out of this all these riffs that I'm doing. Like he realizes he's hard to follow.
Yeah, and then, but when he was trying to explain the music industry and what he's trying to do with the music, that was quite interesting. It's like how the labels are like screwing over the artists and that kind of stuff was very interesting.
Look, I'll tell you, I first in Argentina, like even for me, it was like somebody who like lives on the internet and basically thinks that lives in America or in England. I know like probably 2 Kanye songs, and at the time, back in the day, I knew like only Stronger because it's like a Daft Punk song. So
yeah,
but I knew Kanye because he's just a hilarious person, and if you don't like, at the times he was like ridiculous. I would like watch a few interviews and read a few interviews and just laugh about like how like ridiculously egomaniac this guy is, but also because like nobody was doing it. Like he's like one of the only like being an actual rock star, you know, like saying different shit and not just being repeating what everybody else is saying.
Yeah.
But then like the more I like saw him and he spoke about things, and also he takes risk, because the easy thing to say is just like say whatever everybody else is saying, you know, but he takes risk. He talks about politics, and he doesn't necessarily have the like most mainstream point of view. He posts his like music contract on Twitter, which I think he was like tweeting like the PDF, and he thought that you were gonna see it, but you could see like they are trying to attach a file. So he was trying to attach a PDF and then like screenshotting all the pages. But respect, because like he's actually trying to change a big thing, which he is part of. And granted, he has probably some like money to gain from this change, but nobody else is doing it. Like nobody else is trying to like take a risk. There's a lot of famous people that could be trying to make a change in an industry where that like I don't know, but like everybody says, and it's like public knowledge that artists get fucked.
And most people don't want to ruffle any feathers. You know, that's the problem with, because a lot, you know, it's so easy to get cancelled now, and it's so easy to get like blackballed. It's so easy to get like pushed aside if you don't fall in line. You know what I mean? So as much as people love to hate Kanye, I think there are parts of what he's trying to do you have to admire.
100%, 100%. And if you keep listening, it gets better in that sense that he makes sense and he knows where he's going. So that was my doubt going into the podcast, was like, I know how Kanye talks and thinks because I saw him. Remember when he went to see Trump the first time, that he was like sitting across the desk. He would start to do this thing that you just described, that he would start talking about one thing and then like start talking about another thing, and next thing is
I never actually watched that, but I heard about it. But
I watched it, and I was just like, what is happening? Like it's like the perfect line of like making sense but jumping from topic to topic, where you
because there's so much on his mind, yo. I feel
like kidding, yeah. Is it? But and he in the podcast says that he thinks like Mario Bros. Clouds, like he's in one cloud and jumps to the other cloud and jumps to the other cloud, and then he would make a like super deep like statement about one topic, and then relate it to the Medici family or Tesla or Walt Disney, and then come back to it. And then Joe Rogan has to kind of like put all of it together and ask him a question. But I think it's very smart, and I think, but what I didn't know what was going to happen is if he's self-aware, he's a little bit ridiculous, you know. But he's like, he laughs at it and he says like, how are you gonna like tie all of this up, you know? And suddenly he makes a little like egomaniac joke. So I like it because I think self-awareness is like a big sign of somebody being not an idiot.
Yeah, for sure.
So you gotta watch it, but I think it's hard to like think like him. Look, I was thinking about this. I was telling a friend, you know how everybody says now, but it's like an accepted thing, that if you can't explain it to your grandma or to a 8-year-old, you don't understand it well enough. You know that phrase? I think in a lot of cases it's bullshit. Like some concepts or some problems or some things are not two-dimensional and not binary, are very complex, hard to understand, hard to explain. So some things you just cannot explain to your grandma because you need to like explain all of this before, and some things are just not like explainable in like easy to like put together little sentences. So if this guy thinks a little bit in cloud form, and sometimes it happens to you, it happens to me, that you're like, you know, like you're worried about something, and so like, okay, wait, what am I worried about? And then you like, I don't know, write it down or like tell it to somebody, and then you give it shape, and okay, it's this. So then you're like, a lot of things are like that. But then
there's some things with the bees where I'm like, oh yeah, it'd be easier if I show you rather than like trying to explain it to you.
That's a good example. And if you're talking about, Kanye was talking about like changing civilization, you're not gonna be able to explain it like eloquently and pretty and like put a bow and have it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's it like over there right now with Corona in Barcelona?
Now, like a few hours ago, they announced curfew hours. But I mean, it's not.
Because we've been on curfew since March.
What times?
So it varies depending on like if our cases start to spike again, then they pull it back to like
earlier.
at one point it was like 3 p.m. Then it was like 5 p.m. every night. Then it was like it's been 8 p.m. for a long.
It's funny to me you call 5 p.m. night the night.
It's been 8 p.m. for ages, for months it feels like, and then
That's early.
it just went back to 9 p.m. last week. So we're now on 9 p.m. curfews.
Okay. Well, and then you got a police around like after 9, and you can be driving.
Yeah.
You can be walking. No, here it's either 10 or 11. I gotta check because it changes between provinces. So Spain announced, and then the province or the region can choose 10, 11, or midnight. So it's everything.
Bro, it's been such a weird year, bro. Like I went to LA in January, right? To see some friends because I had this contract that I was supposed to start in the Caribbean, right?
I remember that. Well, you tell me.
Well, let me tell you. So we'd been preparing for fucking months. Excuse my French. For months for this. They kept pushing it back because the boat kept.
Swearing is encouraged.
The boat kept getting delayed because a brand new boat from France that was getting delivered here. So it kept getting delayed. We're supposed to start in December. It got pushed back to end of January. January. Then it got pushed back to February. So I was like, you know what? Let me go visit some people in LA, and then I'll fly from LA to Florida, and then Florida to the Caribbean to start the contract. Anyway, so in January, there was this guy that I follow on YouTube who does news, and he focuses on like the main story at the time that's not really necessarily on mainstream news, and it's not. He doesn't do. There's no agenda. There's no bias. It's just like reporting on the facts and investigating everything from like. One of the big, when I discovered him was when that Iran flight got shot down.
Yeah.
Right? And he was showing like the flight radar information.
Just one dude. It's like one just.
Yeah, just this one dude on YouTube just live streaming his.
What's the name?
Like, Agenda Free TV. I don't follow him anymore because he's gotten very political and very biased. And I was like, you know what I loved about him was that he wasn't like about that. He was just.
It happens, yeah.
Anyway, so then he started picking up on this story in China with the virus. This is early January, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, this is coming, this is real. Like, what can we do now to get ready for it? Anyway, I flew to LA in January. I can't remember the date, maybe like the 12th of January. And I was wearing a mask, hand sanitizer, mask, everything. Yeah, because I was like, I was like taking it seriously, and I was telling people, no one was like listening to me at all, bro. And I was like, no, whatever.
It wasn't even like out of China. It was only Wuhan.
I think when I was going to the States, I think there was one case in LA at the time.
Oh, really?
I think it was San Diego or LA. Yeah. It was one case. I think it was January 17th. Anyway.
Oh shit! Early.
So I get there. My friend Carly comes and picks me up. Yacht Week friend, and I'm in my mask, and people are looking at me on the flight too. There was actually one guy on the flight with me who had a mask on, who was beside me on the other side of the aisle. So we were like these two guys with masks on in the whole plane.
No, was he Asian? Because the Asians are.
No, he wasn't. He was literally like me.
Like the Japanese.
Plaid jeans, plaid shirt, like. Okay. Yeah. No, I think by that time Asians had stopped traveling because they were like, yo, they probably already knew.
Man.
So hold on. So I go to LA. She picks me up. She's laughing at me like, why are you wearing this goddamn mask? What the hell's wrong with you? And I'm like, hey, you can laugh. It's funny. Like I get it, haha. But trust me, it's gonna be something. I don't know what, but. And then LA was fun. Went to San Diego. San Diego was fun. Then when I was there, I had learned that I needed these 2 visas for this contract that the company didn't tell me I needed, and I didn't think I needed either. And I was linking up with
the charting company.
Yeah, so I was linking up with Adam Dawson, and he was like, "Yo," but he dropped me home in the night, and he's like, "Yo, by the way, do you have your visas?" And I'm like, "I don't need any visas. I got my British passport. I'm good to go."
Right.
So he's like, "No, bro, you definitely need a B1, B2, and a C1D, or either or at least the B1, B2. So
B1, B2, like in the American.
Yeah. Because I was going to be based in U.S. Virgin Islands, which is U.S. waters, going to BVI.
So on
So
B1, B2, you could do it.
yeah,
Ah, I could have done it.
which is you're traveling for business because the deal the thing is your yacht is it's a French flag yacht, so that's how I can legally
That's why.
work on it.
Ah, okay, got it.
Based in BVI, but all my charters were pick up and drop off in USVI.
In
So
USVI.
anyways, that complicated. So
Mm.
because it was a French flag vessel, I didn't think I needed these visas. Anyway, so the next morning I go on the website, check it out, and it's like, oh fuck, I need these visas. God damn it! And I'm supposed to be starting this contract in like 2 weeks. So
Now the boat was there already.
I immediately no, it was still in the Atlantic, like on its way to Grenada. So
Okay.
I immediately went on the website, applied for the visa, but I would have to fly home to Jamaica to go to the embassy for the interview. So I had to rush home for the interview. Luckily, I got it. Everything was good to go. And then started working. We did 2 charters, 2 10-day charters, delivered the boat to USVI. And then the coronavirus was really starting to like freak everyone out. Everyone was locking down. Guess
This
what?
is already March.
This is still end of February.
Okay.
This is still end of February, I think. End of February. Places are locking down. Jamaica's on the verge of locking down. Remember, they had already canceled flying from China. They had canceled flights from Europe or about to cancel. Places in New York were starting to they were locking down certain areas in New York, trying to I think that was February. That was
No, it
probably
was later.
March.
It's
Yeah,
later.
that was a bit
March.
late. That was a bit
It's
later.
later, yeah.
So at this time now, I think you're right. I think this is like early March
See,
where
because I think Italy was locking down early March, and then Spain, and
yes. So when I was on
America
charter
probably
in
late March.
BVI, yeah. So when I was on charter in BVI, they locked down Italy
Right.
or northern Italy or some shit. And my guests are New Yorkers, and they're like, God damn, are we gonna be able to get back home at this rate? Anyway, we did the charter, but the next charter canceled. But they were trying to get through to the company because the company is probably freaking out, trying to figure out what the hell are we gonna do. And the guests couldn't get through to the company. The company wasn't returning their calls or their emails, and they reached out straight to me because they had my contact on the charter file. And I was like apologetic. I was like, yeah, sorry about the company. I can assure you we've been trying to keep the yacht as clean as possible. But there was an older group. It was like 60s, 70s, 60s, and 50s, right? Like 3 generations or whatever. And they were canceling. And the company was asking, I think at that point they were starting to look at canceling all the charters or postponing all the charters.
Right.
They were going to ask the crews to stay in the Caribbean and take care of the boat for no pay or something like that, close to that. And I was like, you know what? No way. I'm going straight home. I need to make sure I'm with my family, with my business and everything. I didn't want to get stuck in the U.S. Virgin
See,
Islands.
when you sense that they could lock this down, I don't want to be stuck here.
Yeah, I wanted to get out.
Which then happened. Like a lot of skippers, I know skippers had to sneak away. Sneak.
We had me and my chef had already had some disagreements with the company. So it was the timing was like, if Corona didn't happen, we probably would have parted. We were going to part ways with the company anyway. So I rushed home, but the funny thing is, literally the day before I went home, my guy who looks after my bees when I'm away, he was like, yo man, you need to get back here because there's a huge honey harvest. You need to come back and harvest before, because if you don't harvest soon enough,
Can you
bees...
can you explain quickly what happens in the harvest?
So you set up your hives in a certain apiary area where you know you're going to get a good crop of honey. And during that time of year, February, March, April is always my biggest time of year for honey production. So I knew there was going to be a honey harvest coming up. But we didn't really know what to expect because the weather that year had been kind of like this year, really wet and whatever. So the day before I went home, he was like, yo, you need to get home because we need to harvest this fucking honey. So I got home, had this huge harvest, which was an awesome harvest. I had another bumper crop from another apiary, which was awesome. And then I was working on 2 architecture projects too. So between February and end of May, I was super fucking busy. And because I'm a farmer, I'm a registered farmer here, so I have essential status. So even though they were saying everyone locked down and everyone we never had We never
That's
had
about
like
it.
proper lockdowns. We had like stay-at-home orders where they were saying companies, okay, you can only have half the amount of people in your offices or stuff like that, where you have to hand sanitize, check temperatures, wear
Okay.
masks,
And the curfew. And the curfew.
and the curfews. And
But
then they were
during the good
locking down.
hours, you could walk around during the
Yeah,
okay
yeah, yeah.
hours. Okay.
Yeah, but certain areas that were having outbreaks, they were locking down for like 10 days or 14 days at a time to try and control it, which makes sense because they were actually doing a really good job at like contact tracing, mitigating the spread
Hmm.
until our like health services and everything could like get a hold
Cope.
on the
Yeah.
situation. Which I was always for the lockdowns for temporary to get, you know, your health services ready and stuff. I was never in support of like locking down indefinitely. It's gonna destroy freaking businesses and shit, and like make the situation to me way worse long term than, and it gives us more time to like learn more about the virus and like
Yeah.
see how deadly it is, see, you know. And I think it became quite clear kind of early on that, yo, if you're younger and healthier, like you're fine
Yeah. Right.
for the fact the large most part. You can spread it obviously, but like,
Right.
so I was kind of, after a couple of months I was like, yo, why don't we like find a better way to get the younger, healthier people back into the economy, back into the workforce, and still shelter and protect those that are either older or have pre-existing conditions, or, you know, because the hospitals were completely dedicated to COVID, so people couldn't get like serious health procedures done.
See, that's
Because they're,
another big argument, no, against the getting ready hospitals only for COVID, because a couple of reasons that the government would give more money to hospitals that had COVID patients. So then you have an incentive to say you had more COVID patients than you actually did.
yeah,
And then,
or you're designating a death COVID rather than, you know, there's dying from COVID and there's dying with COVID.
right,
Like,
right, right.
what's the percentage of those people who actually died from COVID?
So
You
like,
know,
like you got run over by a car, but you were coughing and you had COVID also.
or you had a heart attack and at the same
Yeah.
time you had a cough and you had a headache,
See, it gets
and
very
that's like a
tricky.
COVID death.
It gets very tricky when you can have it with zero symptoms, you know, because like if it's super contagious and you can have it without any symptoms, the
And
testing
that's what they're
numbers,
saying.
yeah, like you do test more people have it. People die with it, not because of it, because no symptoms. So that it gets murky. And the hospital thing you were saying, that yeah, like people are afraid of going to the hospital and catch it, or the hospital is unavailable for other things that are not COVID.
And
So then you gotta get like I don't know, another surgery, and you don't get it.
and then yeah, and then like, remember early on they were telling people don't come to the hospital unless you're actually like having trouble breathing. They were
Right.
saying if you have a cough or you know you're sick, like don't come to the hospital unless you're like having trouble breathing. So I think a lot of people didn't get to the hospital until it was like too late, until their health was
Ah,
that
got you.
bad, and
Got
then
you.
they're throwing people on ventilators, which was killing people, which was like either it was killing people or that their health was already at such an advanced, it had deteriorated, you know, so much
That,
that a ventilator was never going to help anyway. You know what I mean?
hmm.
And there wasn't. I feel like there still hasn't been enough of a message of like staying healthy, staying fit, eating well, taking certain
So,
vitamins like vitamin D, C, you know, your zinc and all that shit. So,
man,
I
it's
mean,
what fucking 7 months in is still super weird
I know.
how governments, or not even, I don't even want to talk about the WHO people, uh, they have no idea. And I feel like everybody's just like to not have blood on their hands, or to like keep their little like office of public office job. They just do whatever other countries doing, you know, like here is like, okay, now curfew, like because people are getting together in their houses, so let's do curfew at 10. But a week ago they closed all bars and restaurants here, even tables outside. This was open like since June. I think all restaurants are open from zero. They went open inside, like limited capacity, but
So when they do that, do they give them financial aid to help while they're closed? Like,
no, I
is
don't
there
think.
any like stimulus or?
I think the financial aid they gave here, which was a lot, was for like a furlough, like when you like
Oh yeah, if you
Like
lost your
they
job.
gave a lot
Yeah.
of furlough financial aid, a lot. I think they're still giving it. But I don't think I'm not
So
sure how they discriminate now between the places they're making shut down are not shut down. I think if you just show that your revenue is come down from last year because of COVID, you can say I want to put my employees on this furlough and please pay them something.
I think they did a really good job here because our first outbreak, they got it under control. I thought the measures they implemented worked really well.
Hmm.
I think we went like a week or 10 days without any new cases. But then we had to
That's
open up to
huge,
tourism, right? We had
huge,
to open up
right?
for tourism. Like that's one of our biggest, job producers and
What about
foreign
testing?
revenue.
Testing?
Testing was always very slow.
Hmm.
It was more about contact tracing. So like if you had a known case, whoever they were living with or whoever they worked with, I think they were trying to make sure they didn't come to work or they stayed home on quarantine for 2 weeks or whatever. I thought they did a really good job, and then we had to open up to tourism, and then the tourists were coming in. Not blaming the tourists because we need you guys,
Yeah, yeah,
but
but
there, but there's, what can you do? And then
yeah,
finally our testing increased, and
compared to New Zealand, my last podcast I did, my from New Zealand, 0 cases, everything's closed. You can come in, you can go out. Everything's closed. I mean, like flights, but
crazy.
everything's open. In the island, you live in the 2 islands. You live like the old world. Music shows,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, but then like yeah, and then it never recovered.
yeah.
Jamaica, like
That's where
after.
my younger brother is. He's in Wellington.
Wellington, my friends in Christchurch, good friend. We gotta put them in touch. Great, New Zealand is great. I'll tell you where I was when all of this happened. I went to a wedding in New Zealand. Chelsea Shine's wedding. The hostess.
You went to what?
Yeah.
You went over there for that?
Well, yeah, because I'm very good friends also with the groom. I
Oh,
mean,
who's the groom?
Jamie Rudd, a guy that I met on my first Yah Week when I was a guest. Look, I was a guest on Yah Week
I
2015.
remember.
I met these guys.
I didn't meet you then, but I think I met you the next year.
Yeah, yeah. I met this guy from Cincinnati and I became very good friends. And then the next year, I was skippering and I skipper for them and my friends from Argentina. So it was half and half. So Jamie came on my boat and they were like, we got to get a hostess. And I heard that Chelsea was really good. So I was like, okay, we'll get Chelsea. And they met there and now they got married. And I was probably very consequential for that wedding happening. So of course I
So
went.
he's from Cincinnati, or
Yes,
he's Australian.
no, from Cincinnati. See, now they live in Germany because of his job. Moved to Germany.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they're here in Germany, but they could get away with a wedding, amazing wedding, right on time because they were closing everything down like the week after. The week after was, and even I had like an extra issue that was Kelly, my girlfriend, moving here to Spain with me. She flew here. We flew to New Zealand. We stayed in New Zealand for 2 weeks, and then we were coming back here, right? And they were closing everything like that day, March 15, 16. I actually thought about staying in New Zealand for a bit. Like, what if like she can come in because like she was going in with American passport. We did a thing here called pareja de hecho. It's like a civil union, like you're not married, but you're partners, and she has a resident card now for 5 years, but she didn't have it at the time. So it's like, what if they don't let her in? What
Right.
if whatever? So maybe I'll just stay here in New Zealand where like there's no COVID, like Spain was getting worse, Italy was the worst. So at the end I was like, fuck it, let's just go. I actually decided to come because we had an appointment for the residency card. So I didn't want to miss that appointment. They gave it to us for like months before. We go through Doha, Qatar, and
Yeah.
we were gonna spend one day in Doha. They see my Italian passport and they go like,
Oh,
sorry, but your dad can't come in. If I had my Argentina, it would have been fine, but I only brought my Italian. So like, we can go in Doha. We changed the flight, already super stressed out. Wait, we changed the flight. They didn't want to change the flight because they were like, look, you're Italian. You can go. Spain is in lockdown. You can't go in.
right.
I'm like, but I live in Barcelona. No. And we live in Barcelona. No. Eventually, they don't know what's up. Like they call a guy. Okay, checked in. We fly, but we still didn't know if they were gonna let us in, let her in at least. So super stressed out, like what's gonna happen if they send you back? There were no flights to like New York or anywhere. Like you had to like. Eventually, it was fine. Like nothing. I came in. What are you guys doing? No, no, we live here. Okay, boom. I mean, and it was fine, but super stressful to get back in. And then the lockdown here, we did have like this super like Soviet Union lockdown. It was intense for
Yeah, I heard. I was talking to, do you know Blanca?
I
She's
met
always
her.
says she lives in
Madrid.
Madrid,
I met her like one time, I think. Yeah.
and she was telling me how like, and I have another friend living in Madrid, and they were telling me how strict it was. Like
So
you could only go out, I think, once or twice a day, and if you were going to the store, if you'd have to bring your receipt to show like the military police that you were
yeah.
actually buying stuff.
So
Um, what else? I think if you had a dog, you could go out like an extra day, but like
dogs, you could.
they were so strict that like if you were buying stuff at a store, you couldn't just go and buy like something cheap and come back and then go back and not like later in the day and do the same thing, because obviously you're trying to like
Get
beat the
around.
system.
Get
Yeah,
around.
you're trying to, yeah.
I'll tell you
So it was like,
what we did. I got stopped one time because first uh, we were coming. Like my sister lives now. I live in the same building that my sister. Yeah, am I boring you? Boring you?
I'm just exhausted. We went up the mountain today with a couple of my friends.
It's okay. Okay.
So
So we were sneaking out to my sister's building because she has a rooftop to work out in the rooftop and get like some movement to not be stuck in a little apartment, you know. So we would go and buy like a Coke Zero and toilet paper separate, and then walk separate, like Kelly in one sidewalk and me on the other sidewalk. Super like dodgy, like a couple of people like walking their dog, and then we were like the receipts and the supermarket bag in case we got stopped. And it was always fine, but we did it because the second time we did it on a Sunday, and we had like a supermarket bag but with like bullshit stuff in it, and they stopped me like at my doorstep because Sundays there was no like literally nobody outside, so you're like an easy target. So they stopped me and was like, like you can't like, even if you go to the supermarket, if you live together, it has to be only one person. So we're like, oh, sorry, officer, didn't know. But like, if he had asked for my receipt, I didn't have it. So I dodged that bullet.
yeah, she told me they would check the date and receipt because people would like leave their house with a bag of stuff with an old receipt in there.
It's weird, man. It's weird. And now they're doing this. I was telling you, like the restaurants are closed, but the movies are open. The gyms are open. The swimming pools are open.
You know what's funny? They call Trump a fascist, but then he lets people do like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna let the states do it. I swear to God, if he locked down everything and did these kind of measures,
Oh my God! Imagine. Then Lenin, Mao,
because now they're complaining
Hitler,
that he didn't do enough.
everything. It's
There's no winning.
see. There's no winning. Like you remember when everything started, he was like, okay, no more flights from China. Xenophobe,
Yeah,
anti-China. How can you possibly? And now, oh, you didn't react quick enough. You didn't react quick enough. Like you have no plan. You have no plan. It's
anyway.
at this point you gotta laugh about it. You gotta laugh about it. It's now is when people remember that I don't hate Trump, and I come up with, oh, you did election, you still like Trump? How can you like Trump? It's like, why don't you like Trump? Like, how can you not like him? And nobody
Because
knows what
he's
to
a
say.
racist.
Nobody knows what to say.
I'm like,
Nobody knows what to say. It's funny. You watch any of the debates? I heard he was good in the second one.
yeah, I watched. So the first one, it was hard to watch because there was so much back and forth, and Chris Wallace was so bad. He was like, he kept arguing with Trump, and it's like, is he supposed to be debating you or
So,
Biden? And
so
he would barely ever challenge Biden, but he was always challenging Trump.
But
So I
Trump,
watched like,
I watched like 5 minutes of that one, and I think Trump even wasn't like his usual. He wasn't very good.
yeah,
He was
he
a,
was
a little
terrible,
bit too much. Yeah.
but Biden was just as bad. Like, and then the last one, I thought Trump was amazing and like completely destroyed him
Everyone says.
because
Everyone
it's
says. I'm
like
surprised.
every, I don't know how, is everything Biden.
Yeah, I lose you. I think I lost you. What happens if I stop this? Pause.
Anyone hear it? Did it? Oh,
You got lost.
can you hear me?
Now you're back. You are
See,
frozen.
we start talking about Trump and the connection.
Second,
What's
yeah, the algorithm. Where's Jack Dorsey here? No, Jack Dorsey. What's the name of the CEO of Zoom?
Like my problem with Trump is he's not good at formulating his words to explain. He's not political. He's not a politician, right? So he's really bad at, like, to me, explaining
with the
his
good.
policies.
It comes with the good and the bad. So like, it has like a good
Yeah.
side, but then like I saw a guy saying on Twitter, like, it's amazing to me that Trump can be this composed and chooses not to be all the time.
Yeah. So like, I swear to God, if Trump didn't have Twitter, he would destroy this election. But or
I don't
even
know,
if the media was even 20% less biased than, or less Trump haters than they are,
it would be easy.
Because remember, even earlier this year, they were predicting that Trump would win at a landslide because shit was going well for them. Like, the economy was doing really well. Unemployment was low.
Before coronavirus, and maybe even like before the Black Lives Matter stuff, it was like sailing.
Yeah, everyone was saying he was gonna win by a landslide.
He
Anyway,
said,
so
I could have run against George Washington. We're gonna win.
So Biden said in the last debate, he said, we're gonna go emissions free by 2025. And I'm like, that's a pipe dream. What's the policies you're gonna let the people know how you're gonna get there? Because that's gonna destroy so many industries. If I'm all for phasing out fossil fuels, don't get me wrong, but
right.
if you're gonna jump the gun and say you're gonna go emissions free by 2025, no one challenges him on that when he says stuff like that. But if Trump says stuff like that, it's like, what do you mean? How are you gonna do this?
Give me your plan. Give me your step by step. Yeah. If Biden says it, it's like good. Oh, good.
Like
intention.
When Trump,
good intention. Yes.
Like in the last one when Trump said, the virus is a few weeks away, whatever. And then the lady was like, okay, let me ask you about this. When's the virus gonna be ready? Who's producing it? Can you name the companies, name the date? Like they want to put him to his word, on everything, right? And everything he says, the media will always pick up, and they'll try and interpret it in the most negative way possible and put that on blast.
See, but
and that's causing the hate. That's causing the hate.
I know, and it's not even something that is debatable. They like 100% pick a little thing and change what he meant and show it.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, this could have been this way or this way. Let's pick the most negative. No. It's just like, this is clearly what he meant. We're gonna disregard and just say this. But do you find it like, I feel like my friends, like I'm from Argentina, so we're used to a lot of political bullshit and a lot of like disguised as progressive, good intention, corruption, and I guess Jamaica might be similar. So I feel like it's easier for you and me to see these things, and like the media doing this, or like the other party doing this, like saying like good intentions and speaking. And I feel like Americans have a little more trouble with it, or I don't know, maybe.
Well, the thing about, I feel like America has just become so tribal that you have to pick a side. And even if you try and compliment Trump on one thing, right? You can say you don't like Trump, but you can still give him credit if he's done something good. If you give him credit on something he's done good, now all of a sudden you're like a closet Trump loving racist bigot, whatever. So it's like that's what it's become. And to me that's voter intimidation when if anyone comes out in any kind of positive opinion on anything Trump has done, that's negative, and you want to like cut them off, cancel them and cut them off and tell them a terrible person. No one's gonna come up. Look what happened to Ice Cube. Ice Cube simply said,
what happened? Because I saw that he got canceled from. Wait, let me get the charger for this because I'm listening. Hold on. Okay, wait. Mini stop. I'll go get the charger.
Hold on.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I can hear you now.
I was losing battery.
Okay. I can hear you now.
You
Damn
good?
it, the Cowboys are getting destroyed, got destroyed by the goddamn Washington. Can't call
Redskins.
them the Redskins anymore.
Man, I saw. What are they now? What are they? What's
They're
the?
just they're just called the Washington football team.
Oh my god!
They couldn't come up with a name. Apparently they came up with a name, but that somebody took the trademark quickly like that or something.
That
I don't
happens.
know. That,
And the logo is a W, like a super ugly
yeah,
W.
so dumb.
Oh my god!
I'm all for changing that name because I think that name is like, I've always thought that name is just like
Especially that name.
Redskins. I hate that name. I've always hated that name. It's just like,
But like, there's a lot of like ridiculous like team names that you can change.
yeah, I know.
And then like apparently like the community was proud that they had a team named for the
Yeah,
game.
when they actually spoke to the
Well, the
Native
actual guy
American,
that can
the
get
ones that
angry.
actually know about football, they're like,
We like. I don't know.
but yeah, with look what happened to Ice Cube, dude. He comes
Oh,
out
so
and
you tell
says
me.
he's working with. So he came out and said he was working with, or I can't remember exactly the words, but they were working with the Trump administration. And then everyone freaks out and attacks him like, why would you be working with Trump? Are you crazy? Blah blah blah. And he's like, yo, we have this plan. We reached out to the Democrats with Biden's team and everyone, and they said, no, we don't want to deal with this now. We'll come and talk. We'll come and work with you after the election, right? And Trump's team was like, oh shit, let's see what we can do. Let's work together. Let's see this plan. And then I can't remember the platinum plan or whatever it is, where they're
See, it
trying to
has a
get
name.
funding for
I
African
saw it. I
American
saw it.
community or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, they actually made modifications based on Ice Cube's. Goddamn, I can't remember the name of it. Something contract. Um, anyway, so then everyone's freaking out. Like, why would you? Like, dude, the man is just trying to like help his community out. He doesn't care what tribe you're on. Whatever he can do, he's gonna do. And then look at 50 Cent. He comes out, sees his taxes. He's like,
It's funny.
obviously, dude. A lot of these closet like, a lot of these open like anti-Trump people. Half of them are gonna vote Trump because
You think?
they're about that money, dude. Like, come on, how many
Yeah.
people vote with their pocketbook, bro? People
See,
care
like
more about like their
how
earnings
they
than
affect
anything.
it affects them personally. Like
Yeah.
very weird that somebody say, "Oh, this doesn't benefit me, but I think it's the right thing to do." For like, it doesn't happen.
Especially in uncertain times like now where, yo, how long is it going to take for the movie industry and the touring? Musicians can't tour right now, right? So like, and that's where they make a big bulk of their money, is touring, doing shows.
Now they gotta
So now
count.
they're really worried about, they're counting every penny right now.
They gotta rely on Kanye to change all their contracts and get all their masters and get all their masters.
Right? And then this
So,
idiot Chelsea handler comes out. She's like 50 Cent's
yeah.
ex-boyfriend. Says the most racist shit ever. Says, I had to remind 50 Cent that he's black, and you can't be influencing people like that. I'm like, you can't. But this is what I hate about nowadays is people are trying to tell you how to think, and if you don't think like us, then you're the problem.
But don't
And you
you
think
think
all black people are supposed to think the same, all rural people are supposed to think the same, all Latin American people are supposed to think the same, and I hate it.
I had a lot of like on
No
Yahweh.
discussion.
On Yahweh say, how don't you hate Trump because you're a minority? It's like, what are you talking about?
I hated Trump. I hated Trump, but I hated Hillary Clinton more. So I was like, all right,
No,
let's
but
see what he can do.
what you hate is just like the moronic, like dogmatic fanatism without thinking. That's what you hate. You hate like,
Yeah.
oh, this all bad, this all good.
Yeah.
And see, you
But
can,
I've spoken to so many people who are like, I'll post a few things to my Instagram about like some political things every now and then.
yeah. You actually, I follow you on Facebook. You actually try to explain, and like saw you like arguing with some people. Like Aaron Leppard is a big one. A lot of Matt Ross and
Oh, me and Aaron used to be like real close, right?
yeah.
And we had a few disagreements about a few years ago about the environment and veganism and some of our hypocrisies and stuff. And one of my reasons why I stopped being so vocal about climate change was that at the end of the day, I can preach about this shit. I can change my diet. I can consume more. I'm always being, my parents taught me like to turn the light off every time you leave a room, to turn the fan off every time you leave a room. I've always been like very,
Right.
my truck, I'm always trying to be as efficient as possible with every dollar I spend, every kilowatt of energy I use, whatever it is. But I'm taking 20 flights a year, 20, 30 flights a year, right?
Right.
How can I, that's so hypocritical.
Right.
My carbon footprint, no matter all these small things I do in my life, my carbon footprint.
That is like 99% of the effect.
Exactly. So it's like, how am I in my conscience can I be,
Super active
you
and judging somebody else.
yeah. So I stopped being vocal about it, and at the end of the day, I was very critical of Obama when they did the whole Paris Accord, because it wasn't binding. It wasn't legally binding to anyone. It was, and
We're
I was
just
like, how can you
saying
do
this
this
will
when
be
China's not
nice.
even like taking part in it, so it's, but, there's, I don't know, I'm all for phasing out fossil fuels and all of that. Like I'm all for it, but a gradual phase out. But I think
Yeah,
it needs
yeah.
to
You
be
can
up a bit, there needs to be more incentive,
more
but
incentive and more research, maybe a little like more, because I don't know anything about energy, but apparently like aeolic is not enough. Like solar is not enough.
the what?
Aeolic. How
Oh,
to say? Aeolic. The winds.
we need to do more nuclear. Everyone hates nuclear power, but nuclear is the cleanest energy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cheap, it's not cheap really, but it's cheaper than it used to be.
See, I heard that's like a possible solution.
But everyone's scared of it,
See, this is like
there's big issues with it.
part of the same conversation, the same problem. They're trying to like package together, like you say one thing and then okay, you think like this on this topic, on this topic, on this topic, and then you vote this. You
Yeah.
dress like this, your friends are like this. It's ridiculous, ridiculous. I think like it always kind of happened, but I think now everybody's so connected. Everybody's like expressing themselves all the time, and everybody's copying everybody else all the time because of like lack of originality, being scared of like being canceled or your friends not talking to you anymore, or just like look at me, and then repeating what's like in mainstream or in fashion too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is that.
And I've always been I've always had a strong view about like keeping ourselves accountable, our friends and our close ones. Because if we're not keeping our friends and our circle accountable and challenging our own thoughts, then how are we going to know that what we believe in is the right way to believe in? I think debating things, issues within our own circles is more beneficial in many ways than my circle debating your circle.
So
It's a lot of times you're going to butt heads, but I feel like if you can't critique your own kind to make your own kind better, more productive, more open-minded, whatever, then you and the other side are never gonna. You're always gonna want to agree. If you're in your bubble,
yeah.
and everyone's agreeing with each other and everyone thinks the same way on certain things, then how are you ever gonna be able to cross, as they say in America, cross the aisle,
Yeah.
and work with the other side? It's become so divisive. Everything is so polarized.
It's kind of like what you were saying before, that it doesn't matter really like what are you talking about, or the idea you're talking about is who did it, who said it, like who benefits if we like this. You lose me now.
Yeah, not here.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of like my other big worry now is the censorship and the cultural stuff, and how everything's so boring, and how they want to like take away all the words and all the fun and all the things you had to say. Like man, that's my I think that I get paranoid about is music is so boring, football is so boring. There are no like Kanye's, like no like rock stars, no Diego Maradonas, no like everybody's a yes man. Like see, Mr. Executive from the company, I'll come and sit here and play my little guitar and like preach to the world. And like artists always have done this, but it wasn't the same. It was actually like when Marlon Brando sent a Native American to like get the award. I don't know if it was an Oscar. It was like a rock star move to do that, because like it was, everybody was appalled, and it wasn't in his best interest for his career to do that. Now it is like the move to move your career forward. So people do it with another interest in mind. It's not like genuine. So it's more genuine when Kanye goes and says like, Universal doesn't want to tell me what my masters are worth because I can afford them and I can buy it. You know, so my big worry, and I think that if Biden wins, it's going to be worse, is all the censorship and all the not fun that's going to happen.
Yeah, man. And even like, that's why I think very soon I'm going to come off Facebook completely, and I'm going to come off Instagram completely for a while. Because I just want to do more reading and do more, rather than spend the few hours I have in a day or whatever.
Your energy, your attention. So yeah. I'm big into. I'm obsessed with. You know, I'm a big nerd. So I feel one time I read that nerds. The thing about nerds is like how you like things. So you like a thing and you like it a lot. You asked me, no, you good?
No, I'm just scratching my ears a bit.
Because I feel like I'm obsessed with this guy, Nassim Taleb. You know Nassim Taleb?
I don't think so.
Check him out. He used to be a trader and a risk analyst, but he likes to talk about like philosophy and history.
How do you spell it?
Nassim, double S?
Yeah.
Taleb, Taleb.
How do you spell Nassim? N-A-S-S?
Nassim.
Taleb. Okay, yeah. Talib.
Great. He has like 5 books.
He's on YouTube?
Twitter, uses Twitter a lot, but you gotta read the books. Audiobooks. I did audiobooks. There's one version that the narrator is very cool. I don't know if you're into audiobooks. So,
no, I do. I have my Kindle, so I do a lot of reading on Kindle.
Get a Black Swan or Anti-Fragile.
Black Swan?
Those two are the big ones.
Anti-Fragile
and Black Swan. Black Swan, he talks a lot about fat tails, which is like Black Swan, like an event that affects a lot of stuff on people and nobody foresaw. Like it's easy to see in the stock market, you know, like he wrote that before the 2008 crash. So then he became like more popular because he foresaw it, even though he would argue that the whole point of the Black Swan is that you can see it coming. He's been into improving systems in a via negativa way, like removing things instead of adding things, like stop eating this and you get healthier. So what you were saying of like doing less Facebook, doing less Instagram, doing less news can be like a big room for improvement for you.
Yeah.
I deleted it for like months, man. Like Instagram, I didn't have it on the phone.
Well, what I started doing recently was during the week, I would uninstall Instagram. I don't have Facebook on my phone.
Right.
I don't have Twitter on my phone. I only have Instagram. I have TikTok. I don't use it, but I only installed it because I wanted to do. No, because I want to do videos with the bees. I think I can do some really funny, cool videos with the bees.
Do it. Don't worry about the editing. Look, you
no, but that's why I want to do TikTok, because TikTok you can do shorter videos and you can do. What I saw is you can film something raw and then you can use that video in your background and then you can like explain stuff or make funny jokes or whatever.
You have it running and you say something.
Yeah, you can have. Yeah, so it's like a background filter with the video.
If President Xi calls you and has all your info later, don't worry about that later. You just like do it.
Yeah. So yeah, I was installing it throughout the week, and then on Friday in the evening, I would reinstall so that I could reach out to some people. I would go on Instagram on my computer like twice a day to check my messages.
Yeah.
You know.
So, and people just
I wish
out of Facebook.
I wish there was a way. I wish there was a way that you could link your WhatsApp to Instagram and Facebook Messenger. So if someone sends you a message, you can activate that option. So if someone sends you a message on Facebook or Instagram DM, it would go straight to like WhatsApp.
And then you don't have to look at Instagram, look at Facebook. Yeah.
And I think that's something they were trying to do at one point and people were freaking out.
See, they're trying
not necessarily link it to WhatsApp, but to have one messaging, like everything together as one.
See,
you know.
I don't know. There's a lot of like monopoly, like trust, antitrust, trying to break up, not break up, but at the same time, they made them say they're the same company. Like in Europe, I think they are forced to say from Facebook, from Facebook. So like people know, look at all these things you're using are from Facebook. So they're trying to hold them
Bro,
back.
it's crazy how the censorship has gotten. Let me tell you what happened to me last night.
Man,
So a friend of
the
mine,
thing, the New
a
York
friend of
Times.
mine reached out. Yes, so a friend of mine reached out to me yesterday evening and said, "Yo, the SEX tapes of Hunter Biden
Wait, he
had
said it
been
like that.
leaked."
He said it like that, like, or he
No,
said,
I'm saying it like that because if you
okay,
upload this to YouTube, I don't want
okay, okay,
the
okay.
algorithm to like. Anyway, so she told me that these are leaks and sent me the link to the website. She said, I can't type out the link because Instagram's not letting me send the link to you. It's blocking the link.
It like disables
Literally,
the link. Oh my God, you cut out. This is recording. Man, Matt just said some names and got disconnected. The power,
name dropped.
Jamaica cut the power grid. No, it was just, what was it? Surge?
Yeah, power surge because of all the rains and stuff.
Ah, right.
So, yeah, man. So she tells me about this link, sends me a screenshot of where to click, what to type in, and I see some stuff, and I'm like, holy shit. So, me like a dummy, I type the link. I send a Twitter DM to someone who's somewhat like not like huge on it, not huge on Twitter, but like has like 30,000 followers. They're like up and coming. So they're at that size where they'll still, you know, they're gonna see your reply or like a message because they're not like, they don't have
In a
hundreds of
million, it doesn't get
thousands.
lost. Right.
Right. So I sent him a DM with the link and I instantly get blocked, got banned off of Twitter for 12 hours. So
No
I
way.
could only go back on Twitter this morning at like 11 a.m. or something.
No
Yeah,
way.
like instantly. So I
What's
sent the link.
any explanation? Any like email? T's and
No,
C's.
it's
T's and
gonna
C's.
be, it was something like you violated the rules
T's and
and
C's. T's
whatever.
and C's.
Here's a link to the rules. So
It's crazy. It's fucked
some
up.
random website, bro, like, but I don't know if, so I didn't really, the one video I watched, not gonna go into detail, but
I didn't
you
know
couldn't
that.
really
I
see a
didn't know
person.
there were sex.
Yeah, because they have his laptop, right? So there's a bunch of videos, a bunch of pictures and shit apparently that is gonna
I
get.
thought the
But
whole
the
thing
thing
was
is,
about the
the
bribes and
corruption.
the corruption and the bribes.
So that's what most people are more interested in because the leaks on the sex tapes and pictures are just like, to me that's like,
Yeah.
it's just gross.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Nobody. Yeah, and nobody cares.
But if they're underage, if they're underage girls,
Right.
then legally you can't have them on the internet.
Yeah. A lot of
So no
people
one's
get
gonna see them anyway.
super destroyed. Yeah.
And you're gonna get arrested if you share that, or if you
Have it.
recreate it and repost it. People can get arrested. Yeah, if you have it, you can get arrested for that.
I think that the guy, like an actor from Glee, like killed himself. He was like going to jail, and he had some like not naughty videos of underage girls. Was gonna go to jail and kill himself.
So anyway, so that was weird. That happened last night.
Man,
But,
it's crazy. It's crazy. I think
but
super gangster.
even the New York Post one,
The
you can
Senate.
send that.
You see the Senate
What?
tweeted the Senate the Twitter account of the Republicans in the Senate tweeted to Jack, "See you soon," and a video how like you can like share the link. Super gangster. I don't know. Apparently, some people say that the guy didn't want it censored, and it's like teams
You
inside Twitter that do this, and he's just like doesn't know.
But did you Do you follow Tim Pool?
See, from back in the day, like I don't know, like before he went
He
on,
was with Vice.
he went on Rogan with Jack. I never saw those two, like the Tim Pool. I listened to Tim and Joe, and then when Dorsey came back with the lawyer, I didn't see. But I know Tim Pool. I know. Back in the day when he went to do a thing in Sweden, like got into the ghettos in Sweden, back in the day, via Paul
Yeah.
Joseph Watson, like back in 2016.
So he's been interviewing a bunch of people who work for big tech or used to work for Facebook and stuff, talking about the censorship and the bias that.
He's doing like a James O'Keefe kind of thing.
Oh yeah, but nowhere near on the like. He's more interviewing the people that would be giving shit to Veritas, to James O'Keefe.
Oh, okay.
That kind of, yeah.
But front interview, like not like undercover or anything. Like
No, this is like on the podcast. He does a live podcast every night, 7 p.m. my time. So that's.
But these people work
When he has
for
guests
big
like that,
tech?
it's pretty cool.
These people work for big tech?
Yeah, like the one I posted one to Facebook, like 2 days ago. He used to work. The guy he was interviewing used to work for the content moderation for. He was a content moderator for Facebook a few years ago. When they first started doing it, near the time when they first started, for putting these teams together that would decide what needs to be taken down versus what can stay up.
I'm already lost with Facebook
So.
because Zuckerberg, like a few months ago, said that he wasn't going to do anything, but clearly now they are doing. Or like the Twitter thing is super obvious, you know, like the link, you can send it in DM, you can post it.
Yeah.
You have to. Are you sure you want to see?
Bro, I've posted tweets of videos. I've copied tweets from Twitter to Facebook of videos of the BLM and the Antifa people either being extremely violent or throwing racial slurs at people, that kind of stuff. And they get taken down every time.
The video is taken out.
They get taken down every time. So this is the thing, man. A lot of people don't see. People are so ignorant to certain things that's going on because they get their news source from CNN, MSNBC, C-SPAN, and then all their journalists and people maybe on Twitter who are the people who fight for mainstream media, right? So if I bring up something that I know I've seen, throughout these curfews, I was watching these streams every night for 60 days of the violence of Antifa and BLM protesting and rioting through the streets. The most terrible things, they're shouting and yelling at communities, at the police, and instigating, antagonizing, trying to create these scenes of violence. And then you're like, the only thing that the mainstream media shows is the reaction. They'll show the police arresting these innocent protesters, which I'm sure a lot of the innocent ones are getting arrested, but they come out and say, oh no, they're not yelling those things. And I'm like, dude, I've been literally watching this every night. Yeah. But then when you tell people that, they don't believe you because they haven't seen it either. Because they're like, oh, where have you seen this? I'm like, YouTube. And they're like, oh, okay, it must be fake then. And I'm like, dude, these are live streaming people. Most of the people who are live streaming are leftists who are at these protests streaming everything.
Right.
But what they stream it live, so I'm seeing everything, I'm hearing everything.
Yeah,
right.
It's not correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
exactly.
You know the Eric Weinstein, we say on Joe Rogan all the time. He talks about this with Joe at one point that they say, look, like a lot of people listen to us, a lot of people are on the internet and on YouTube and on podcasts, but still nothing happens. Like he means like the keys to the kingdom still in like the old school, the legacy media, the politicians, this and that. So it's something to think about, because in a way you're like, okay, like TV is over, this old ways legacy stuff is over. Now it's all about the social networks and the podcast, and people are waking up and people are have more access to information. So in a way you want to believe that, but then what does really happen? Like it's like, are the legacy media saying like, yeah, you guys like play the podcast journalist game? It doesn't matter to me because like we got the nuclear codes, we got the keys to the kingdom, like, you know. So it's that's
Yeah, I love Brett and Eric.
so so that's like, to your point, that's like you, it's available. I'm sure like Tim Pool has like millions of viewers, but where are these people? Or like, do we not run into these people when you go and talk to your friends and say like, dude, like, what do you see this? Like, do you like see anything else that is not like the Apple News on your iPhone when you swipe left like by accident? What are you?
Yeah, like I had this disagreement with someone on Instagram who I thought was a close friend. She posted something about, it was like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, about Chris Cuomo, right? And he was, I can't remember what the video was, but she was like all in love with him. And I'm like, how can you love this guy who got caught outside of his house with COVID, right, by whatever, with his family without wearing a mask and all this shit? And she's like, what? That happened? Where did you see that? And I'm like, well, here's the report from Fox News, and here's the interview with the guy who came across him. And she's like, oh, Fox News, like that's not real. And I'm like, and then I was like, okay, well, it's also on this newspaper on the Daily Mail. And she's like, oh, the Daily Mail, like the Daily Mail that's right wing, that's crazy. I had a friend that worked there and whatever. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say her name. I'm like, yo, you realize that there's no one on that side of the aisle is gonna report anything negative
So if you only watch
on
those
their own
things,
people.
how can you?
So if you only, you're never gonna,
Right.
and then you're never gonna believe when
That's
someone
what I would
else
say.
reports on it,
I would have said the same thing.
right?
You were a
Like
smart
I would
person.
never,
Yeah.
just like how I'm critical of CNN a lot and MSNBC, at the same time, I'm also critical of Fox News. I'm not gonna take everything they say.
Yeah.
But even his wife, even Cuomo's wife did an interview with, I can't remember who it was, a phone call interview, and she even said that this happened and the guy was crazy and all this shit. So she admitted that they were outside of the house and he had COVID at the time while he's pretending to be in his basement, and then had this grand like episode on CNN of him coming out of his basement and all this shit for show. And I'm like,
I saw it coming up the stairs. I saw it coming up the stairs.
oh my, I'm like, so you have to try and like as you say, diversify your portfolio, but diversify where you're getting your information from, because you know there's obviously people like I like what's his name, Tucker Carlson. I don't take everything he says for fact because he's a lot of tongue in cheek, but at the same time he's very against the establishment, and he's very against the elitist mentality of politics.
See, that's the other divide.
Republicans
like
and Democrats.
You get the Democrat Republican, and you get the establishment anti-establishment, if you want.
Yeah. And then you have people like Hannity, who I hate, who's just fucking
I know
whatever.
who he is, but I never.
And then you have people like Chris Wallace, who I actually like. He's more the business side of things, but he's a Democrat who works for Fox. And then you have people like Brett Meyer, who I like. He's just like a newsman. He's just going to give you the facts. He's just going to tell you what's happening. There's never going to be like an opinion or a bias, or he'll have an interview. He'll ask the questions and he lets them answer and like moves on.
You're gonna know like the thing you're reading, what newspapers from, like how what their interests are, what their bias is. So you know where you're at. If you're like looking at watching Tucker, you know he's on Fox News. You've seen other things he said, and then like you can like make sense of what he's saying. You make sense of like, oh, this is bullshit. Oh, yeah, is this like this? Okay, then you can think like, oh, if this like premise he's talking about is correct, then all of this, okay, but he could be wrong about this, you know. So you had to just like use your
and when I gave up on CNN completely was with the hold on.
Man, I feel like you have so much more time. If you, I'm guilty of that too.
With the
watching like
with
Fox News.
Yeah. So with the when I gave up on CNN completely, it was with the Covington kids who Do you remember that story where the kids
kid,
were at
the
the
smiley kid.
Washington Monument? Yeah, and they were all wearing their MAGA hats or whatever.
Look, at
And the
this point,
Indian American,
I get like zero into it, but I see like a few people commenting on the story, and I already can guess the story. I can already guess, oh, this is probably what happened. This is what these people said. This is what these other people said, and people think
so
this.
this is the Trump derangement syndrome where, oh, because he's wearing a MAGA hat, then he must be a terrible person and he must be a racist. So I'm going to believe everything CNN says about him, right?
I could see
So
a picture of the kid, and I could paint you the whole picture. CNN said this. They forgot to say this. I could guess. I could guess.
but my issue was at first I believed CNN and I believed what was happening, and then somebody saw a comment saying, hey, this isn't what happened. So then I was like, all right, let me see what they mean. So I go on YouTube and I search for the Covington kids. I search for like a live stream because I want to see if I can find like the raw video of where they got that footage from. I find the link, and the link is from the Black Israelites who were there protesting the same day, and they were recording the whole thing. They were live streaming the whole thing for like 3 hours. So the whole video is like 3 hours long, right? I watched the whole fucking thing.
Man, I tell
Right?
you gotta stop.
I watched the whole thing because I wanted to see, what happened. I watched the whole thing, and I realized what CNN and the media were saying was completely false, completely fucking false.
Wait, but I'm more interested.
And
Like okay, you can finish, and then I'll ask you. You finish, and I'll ask you.
yeah, so I realized it was completely false. So I went back to Facebook and I posted this link, and I'm like, hey guys, before you make any judgment on these kids, freaking kids that people were telling, they all deserve to die, they need to go right in hell, like blah, 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 all this kind of negative shit. Like, before you make any judgment, just watch this whole 3-hour stream and decide for yourselves whether you agree with what CNN is saying or you're living in an alternate reality or whatever. And barely anyone wanted to like actually watch it. And I want to be fair, like people don't have that much time in their lives to be like, but you could maybe go through it and skip through it until maybe you think the part that actually matters. But I feel like context is very important. I've always believed that context is
See, I think it
very
was
important. So
Bill Burr. I think it was that said that the news. I don't know if it was Bill Burr, but it says that the news they just like show you. See, it was Bill Burr, a piece of the story like from the middle. So like you see a guy beating somebody else up, but you didn't see like why.
yeah, you didn't see what happened before.
So
Yeah,
that's
what did he do to deserve that?
that's the news. But I'm also more interested in like why are you wasting your time?
Then you're a conspiracy theorist if you like disagree with the mainstream. I've always been like a contrarian, right? So I've always been inclined to find.
Yeah, me too.
I've always been kind of inclined to find a reason
True.
to be on the other side or disagreement kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That's what I was gonna ask you. It's like in the beginning, I was like, yeah, like nobody likes Trump. I'm gonna like Trump. Whatever, fuck it. Just like, but because I feel like people need a little bit of like sense of humor. I think like to like paint all over this because like at the end of the day, like everything now is like, oh, that kid deserves to die, or like that guy is like, oh my god, man, like you are like in your house. This like, what do you?
And
what do you care?
yeah.
People like
And I've the last 4 or 5 years have been kind of intense that in a sense that like you go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, you go on Twitter, wherever it is, amongst my friends who I actually know, almost everyone is posting anti-Trump stuff, negative Trump stuff, whether it's jokes, which is fine, humor, like I love the humor, whatever. But after a time, it just gets old, right?
Yeah.
So if I post something about Trump, normally it's going to be something he's done that's good. Because I still think that, if you're just completely focused on the negative, and you're constantly attacking him, you're not encouraging that person, Trump, to do more good. And I feel like you still need to praise, not necessarily praise, but give credit recognition and when you try and show people some of the good things that have happened, it barely gets mentioned on CNN, like the peace deals and stuff, which, you can be critical of everything should be critique, everything, I believe, everything. But for you not to think that it's a positive step in the right direction, I think damages what could possibly come from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But,
No, it's super like sports, and then everybody.
and it happens on both sides. It
Yeah,
happens on both sides.
man. Like now, when like, do you see they saw that plot to kidnap the Michigan governor? They were gonna kidnap Michigan governor, and I bet you that everybody was hoping, oh my God, I hope the kidnappers are supporters of Biden,
Trump.
supporters of Trump. I hope like,
Yeah.
so I can say, oh look, these people are. It's just like, but what are they thinking? Like they think like they only, if they like Biden, like all the bad people like Trump and all the good people like Biden. What's the thinking behind it? I don't know. But what do you? Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to understand, why did you watch that thing of 3 hours? Why did you care about that kid with the Trump hat? Why did you care about what people were saying on Facebook? But was it like? Because I mean, sometimes I do it too. Because I'm trying
I
to.
mean, I'm always suspicious when a major news cycle just gets like this much and goes so viral. I'm always suspicious, and I'm always curious to find out more. You know what I mean? So I was just curious to find out, like, and then the fucking kid sued them and won for
I want.
defamation. He won,
Yeah,
yeah,
good.
but he
Good.
can't say how much he won because that was like a
NDA. Yeah.
what's it called, non-NDA? Yeah, non-disclosure
Yeah.
agreement.
See. See. I don't know. So what's
So
happening now? It's in a week almost. What's gonna happen? Oh my God! It's gonna be, man. These 4 years, Twitter, all these meetings with Kim Jong Un, all those things. I don't want them to end. It's too entertaining. It's too
but
fun.
that's the thing, the media is gonna get fucked. The mainstream media is gonna get fucked.
Hey, like their business is to trash Trump. What are they gonna do?
So that's why I feel like that's why they're already.
Well, they have COVID. They
I
have
think
COVID now. COVID is the
they
new.
have COVID, but I think they're already starting to like create the next drama, which is going to be like the culture civil war
Which
because of the
like
tensions in America
we've
right
been
now
following
between the
for
left and
years.
the right.
Uh,
Yeah, so I feel like that's going to be the next thing they're going to be like hammering in people's heads is like the impending civil war or whatever.
I wonder
You know,
why people do this. Like if you, because
I mean, Trump brings a lot of it on himself with some of the things he says like off the cuff. But like I said, remember, like we agreed, like the media will hyper focus on it
or
and
make it
make it
up
into this
or
big
make it up
story
or
or
like
make it up, take it out the
pull it
context or whatever, you know. So
see, I think he kind of likes it, and he kind of like he's good at like creating the big enemy and using their force for his, for his advantage. That's why a lot of people were saying that it's hard for him to run against Biden, because Biden is an empty vessel, a corpse. So Trump is good at like getting you're coming at him, and you're like judo, like uses your force against you, and Biden is like a limp. So if he did good in the last
did you
debate,
do judo?
no, zero martial
I
arts.
did a little. I did a little judo when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Gymnastics. I was big on gymnastics when I was a kid. Yeah, and a little bit of judo. I
no.
don't remember any of it now. I was just curious, but I really want. I really want to get into MMA or like start some like
You were
jujitsu or
watching.
something. Just
See, man, well, now that I were like in the Joe Rogan universe and the Jocko Willing universe, Jiu-Jitsu is like
Jacko Willick, man.
the answer to life. So I'm
Yeah,
curious. I'm curious, like, yeah, okay, this guy, because like these are smart guys, and they talk about Jiu-Jitsu like it's like life is like
oh, it's
Jiu-Jitsu.
pouring again. Holy
I
shit!
hear, I hear it, I hear it.
Yeah, yeah, man. Those guys. Jordan Peterson really helped my life get my life in order. Like listening to the
Big,
stuff he was saying
see,
about men and how.
man, big fan of Jordan Peterson. My 2018 discovery was Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, man. He
But
definitely
now,
made me a better
I'll tell
man.
you, I'll
Joe
tell
Rogan
you,
podcast too.
I'll tell you what I'm struggling with now. I'll tell you, because like once when you get into Nassim now, you saw this guy, this Indian guy, Naval Ravikant, super smart, Nabal, great.
Maybe.
He's good on Twitter, but also on podcast, and just like good life advice. But they are more like creative, like they're more like, Nassim is big on the Mediterranean, so he says that a man is free if he has like free time. So like the best things that you have come from having more free time to like explore your creativity and stuff like that, which I agree with a lot, because I feel like my edge on things come from being curious and exploring ideas when I was younger, or even now, like when you have free time, you just like go down like rabbit holes, and like you are interested in a topic and you go down like bees or this or that, you know? So I see all of that, but at the same time, the super animal mentality, like Jocko Willing, David Goggins, or a little bit of Jordan Peterson,
Again.
yeah, that helped me a lot because I didn't have it. So I'm now.
Yeah, definitely Goggins, man.
Yeah, I love the Goggins. You catch me at a bad time for this because I don't know where my like the needle is anymore. Like I used to be doing like to-do lists, like sleeping like this many hours, working out in the morning, going out running at 5:30 a.m. in New York, pouring down rain, and it gives you like a good sense of accomplishment and all of that, which I agree with, and it's great and it's true. But at the same time, I feel like you lose a little bit of, you know, the flair from these other guys that I'm telling you about. So I see both points, and I don't know.
I think the way I try to balance it too, I know what you're saying. Like, I become more of a list guy. So every evening I'll go on my phone and for my calendar day the next day, I'll list out what I need to do. Not necessarily at the end of the day, but even throughout this day, I'll be like, all right, I need to do this tomorrow. I need to do this on Thursday. Or if like I go and inspect some hives in one location, I'll immediately go into my phone and go through my calendar and be like, all right, a week from now, I'll start the list for going back there again and what I need to bring based on what and then I'll try and do that every evening for the next day. So that way I can get as much done as I can, as early as I can. And then I have the afternoon to do fuck all or, shout at people on Facebook.
Right. I see. I think I'm trying to like come back to it a bit and see like where the good measure of both sides is because I benefited a lot from like the list and the getting after it from Goggins and
the list help, man, even if it's small, really small goals. And I think there was a guy on Joe Rogan 2 or 3 days ago. Who was it? Yes, it was his, and he was saying, he'll list out he go through phases where he'll like list out every single thing, even if it's like taking a shit. I'm not like that, but I understand that. I definitely see the benefit of it, at least for a temporary, a period.
Yeah,
for sure, because it makes you feel like you're getting things done, and it encourages you to get more shit done.
And you also thinking about things. You can, like, he made a good point of it, saying like, I include kiss my wife or take a deuce.
Yeah.
He includes like more like love and family stuff, and it's not like otherwise it's super robotic, like working out.
I think that's awesome.
A guy said on Twitter that if the downside is too big, you should put it on the list. Like, what happens if you don't take care of the bees? The bees die, then list stuff 100%, because you cannot afford to not do it. And then, like, if it's just like the stuff that if you don't do it, nothing happens, maybe you can keep off the list. So maybe there's something. But definitely, I'll be leaving you because I'm passing out here. It's late. But definitely check out that guy, Naval. I think you like him a lot.
Check it.
And then Nassim, you gotta go deeper, You gotta go books. So like whenever you find...
Hold on, what's the name of the other one?
Naval.
I already bought the book for Nassim.
You'll love it.
Amazon. Well, I bought the one. I bought the not the Black Swan one, the other one.
Anti-Fragile.
Yeah, I got that one.
Great.
So the other guy's, what's his name?
Naval. Naval. Massive on Twitter. You must have seen his picture.
Just one name? Just one word?
Sí. It's like Madonna. The last name is Ravikant, but with Naval it's enough.
Oh, Ravikant, investor.
He just did a podcast with Tim Ferriss. Yes. He did one with Joe.
I've seen this guy.
He's great.
Yeah, I remember him on Joe.
Super smart. Super intelligent.
One of the guys I really like is excuse my French. He is used to be the CEO, not CEO, but used to be one of the big guys at Google.
Eric Schmidt?
No, nope.
That's the current. Oh no, he left.
I'm trying to find his podcast. All In Podcast. His name is. He's a big He's a big He has a fund called
Y Combinator.
investment fund called. It's called. Shit, I can't remember now. God damn it, I'm so bad. Chamat. His name's Chamat.
Chaman.
Yeah, Chamat. Sorry, Chamath. Yeah,
Palihapitya.
I didn't even try to pronounce his last name.
Social
No, to
capital.
offended. Yeah, social capital. He's awesome, man. He's awesome.
Got him.
If I remember any of his good podcasts, their last one they did last week was actually really good about the Twitter and Facebook censorship. If you go on their YouTube, that's like the last
Is
video.
his podcast, or he's like guesting?
It's him and 3 other guys.
Oh man, you saw that Peterson was back. Did you see that he made a video? He's back.
No.
Yeah, he's back. He's made like a front camera and back video.
I saw it, but I never watched it.
Man, my favorite podcast ever, probably of his, is his own podcast, like Dr. Peterson, like slowly the podcast. He had like all this like the Bible lectures and stuff. The number 4 episode, I remember, is called Religion, Science, and Myth, and it's like an early Dr. Peterson, like not the usual like nice guy you're used to seeing. He's super poignant, like sharper. That is amazing. He talks about science and religion and how like, okay, science is great, but there has to be something. And the interviewer is very good, and he's more aggressive. You gotta go listen to that.
All right, if you want to send me, if you come across it, send me the link.
I'll find it and send it to you.
All right.
Okay, man. Good. Do you have fun doing this with me?
Yeah, man.
It's good.
Nice catching up, bro.
It's just catching up.
Yeah, bro.
Let's do another one.
All right, sounds good.
I'm off here in Spain. It's almost curfew.
We can talk about how terrible Manchester United is in the next.
And give us back Rojo. Marcos Rojo came back, played only 1 game for us, and he had to fly back. So you're not using him. So give.
Yeah, they're not even using him. Luke Shaw's back, so.
Yeah,
and they've got.
You need a new captain.
Everything.
You need a new captain.
Well, they gave it to freaking this guy who barely even spent weeks there, and they gave it to freaking McTominay or whatever his name.
You know I'm a Tottenham fan now with Mo.
Go away.
Number 1. No.
Arbor.
I'll stop this. Like,
nice, man.
Be careful about the rain.
Later.
Bye-bye.